Welcome to my art show. It's called Roots and Wings. I picked that title because when I'm creating art, I enjoy it so much. I have such a good time. I feel like I could almost leave Earth altogether, but I need to remain rooted, and so I wanted to explore that idea in my art and share it with you. The first wall is pretty much devoted to roots, and starts, of course, with my roots, which are my home place, my farm. I live in southern Saskatchewan on a farm in Treaty 4 territory, and I have a little group of watercolors, and I can go outside my door just a couple of minutes in any direction, and there's beauty. There's something to paint. Sometimes I go a little bit further. I go to Pheasant Creek Coulee, which is close to my farm. I sit on the hills. I paint the hills, the grass. Sometimes I paint the wildflowers. I find it endlessly inspiring to go there and really enjoy it. Some of those paintings are quite representational, but I've also loved to explore the shapes and contours of the creek and the coulee. They're very particular, and in this piece called Songlines, it's a mixed media piece, I started with the creek. And I love the way that the creek curves. It has a very distinctive way of curving, and find that very beautiful. When I got to gluing the papers on, I got completely lost, and I'd have to stand back every so often. And when I was done, I was quite surprised to see that it felt like there were shapes or spirits of people in those hills. And that's often the way I feel when I'm hiking in the coulee or in the Qu'Appelle Valley, is that there are presences there from before. Some of my pieces include trees and the roots show. I like the roots to show even though we don't see them. I think it's important to know about that down deep digging that the trees do. So some of them include roots and the tree and have birds flying. So they include all the elements of the show. And these few pieces are all done with candy wrappers, cigarette foils, and explore that theme. In a larger piece that I have, it's the largest piece of this kind, is called Tree Blooming Birds. And this particular piece is made with layers of rice paper collaged together to form birds in the tree. They are sandwiched between two pieces of plexiglass, so this piece is meant to be in a window, and it changes as well with the light throughout the day. It began for me, this piece, when I got this gorgeous piece of green paper, and it seemed to have a tree right in it, so I cut out the tree, and then the tree seemed to be blooming birds, so I just continued creating it. And if you look around this room, you will see birds everywhere. And I love cutting out birds, I love painting birds. I've loved doing it since I was about 16. They're not realistic Robert Bateman birds, they're sort of crazy, tropical, colorful birds. And I feel as though I have flocks of birds inside me and could be doing this very happily for a really long time. This spring, I painted quite a few of these flocks of birds in different reds and blues, sometimes with foliage, sometimes not. Kind of a series I called my Crazy Bird series. The last group of paintings that I would like to show you today are ink spill paintings, and these began with a mistake. I was attempting to follow some instructions to make an ocean. My ocean looked nothing like an ocean at all. It looked to me like a hill, and I started playing with it. And pretty soon I had a picture called Up the Hill, and I included my husband Shane and I in the picture. We've got our backpacks and our poles. We're training right now to hike the Chilkoot Pass, so we're here at the top of the hill. We're almost at the top of the hill in my imagination. In some of the ink spill pieces, I've connected the sky and the earth with ladders, or people are climbing up into the sky, and I love the notion that just like we don't see the trees, we don't see everything that is happening in the clouds. So it sort of brings us full circle. I'm really glad you were able to spend time with me today. Thank you for coming to my show.